kill you! You're never gonna beat me at punchies.
Fetch me their soul!
Let's play Fetch the Grenade, Demon Spawn!
Disappointing, isn't it? Because this is what playing King Salmonid rounds feel like. Oh, I've been wanting to make this for a while. 4-player co-op modes. I feel like there's a shorter name for this. A lot of games have them. COD Zombies, Firefight from Halo, Garden/Graveyard Ops from Garden Warfare, Horde mode from Gears of War, Escalation from the Transformers Cybertron games, and many, many more. And these are just the side mode ones. I didn't even talk about the full-scale ones like Payday, Left 4 Dead, Helldivers, Deep Rock Galactic, and I guess Borderlands counts? It doesn't really matter. If you have not been paying attention, or don't follow me on Twitter, co-op shooters is my favorite video game genre. The idea of 4, sometimes 6, idiots fighting against the world while being forced to work together or die together is pretty cool, and I eat it up every single time. So much so that after playing Splatoon 1 for 1 week, I was practically begging Nintendo to make a Horde mode like COD Zombies, like Garden Ops, like Horde mode. I am genuinely convinced that if SalmonRun was not a thing during Splatoon 2, nobody would have wanted a Splatoon 2. Keep in mind, I'm talking about pre-Octo expansion. And while yes, SalmonRun is a very basic co-op mode, SalmonRun, like everything else in Splatoon, is pretty much the gateway to other games. Seriously, for everyone watching, how many of you guys would have not gotten into either roguelites, co-op shooters, or just shooters in general if it had not been for Splatoon? But if I'm saying this, then what issues do I have with Salmon? Oh, well, you see, Splatoon 2 SalmonRun made perfect sense for why it was the way it was. Splatoon 3 SalmonRun should have not been the way that it is. S2 had issues, but it was the first time Nintendo did something like this, so they get a pass. But the thing is, a lot of these issues transfer to S3 and they shine way brighter. So now that you understand where I'm coming from, let's get into this. SalmonRun has no progression, just the illusion of one. But OC, you might be asking, what about your rank? It doesn't even matter. The only reason why the ranking system in SalmonRun has any meaning is because Nintendo made the game's difficulty tied to it. The higher your rank, the higher the difficulty. And let's be honest, once you reach EVP, which is really easy, you tend to forget that this game even has a difficulty system at all. It feels like Nintendo was just confused with what to do with it. They were just thinking, well, PvP has a ranking system, why not give it here? And then just called it a day. Every co-op shooter has 2 different types of progression, either in-game progression or out-game progression. In-game progression are games like Left 4 Dead or COD Zombies. World at War to Black Ops 3. Anything past Black Ops 3, I wouldn't consider that to be in-game anymore. They're kind of like a mixture between both. In a normal game of Left 4 Dead, you start with basic supplies and tier 1 weapons, but as you progress, depending on how well your team is doing, you can find access to better weapons and gear. And then for COD Zombies, you spawn in with only a pistol, and as you survive, you'll progress through the waves, get more points, which allow you to either open the map, buy weapons off the walls, or gamble to hit the box for wonder weapons. And if you don't know what wonder weapons are, think of them like Grisco weapons for the kids who never played COD Zombies. Got them all. Now moving on to games without game progression. You have games like Payday and Helldivers, where you do missions and heists, and after completing them, you gain money or XP, which allow you to have access to more weapons, gears, and abilities to take on more difficult missions, heists, expeditions, or whatever these games call them. You are progressing, you're just not doing it in the gameplay, which is why I consider it out-game progression. And here's the thing, SalmonRun does neither, which is frustrating, especially since SalmonRun could literally lean both ways. The newer COD Zombies games swing both ways. Damn, Black Ops, I didn't know you were like that. It upsets me because the eggs are right there. And I don't mean the golden eggs. I'm talking about the standard orange power eggs. These eggs that are dropped by lesser and boss salmonids when killed do nothing? I literally replayed the tutorial to see if there was anything I missed, which by the way, yeah, this game does have a tutorial if you forgot. And Grizz literally tells you that grabbing them is a priority. But why? What's the game? And no, world building is not a good answer. F. See me after class. You wanna know what Splatoon could have done with these eggs? How about this? After every wave, the basket turns into a shop, and you were given at least 20 seconds to go there and browse for upgrades, whether it be stuff like more ink, lower sub costs, resistance to staminate ink. Maybe you could buy other specials or refill the ones that you were given. Or what if we could rent weapons outside of the current rotation? And what if in every game, the shop is random? You could buy a grayscale weapon if it happens to spawn there. I could go on and on and on about how this shop system could work, but it gives some sort of progression, giving players something to look forward to at the end of every round. And even if you don't want to buy anything, or and sometimes can't buy anything, the extra time is a nice breather to collect yourself. Or turf the map, because turfing the map is really important, and please turf the map. I'm so tired.
Let's go gambling! Let's go gambling! Gambling, gambling! Is that all you ever say? That's all I hear anymore! I can't take it anymore! I hate gambling!
I know it sounds like I don't like RNG. I do. I just don't like the way that it's done here. I don't mind weapons being random, but why is the map and specials randomized too? It just feels like artificial difficulty. What if before every job, everyone in the crew can pick one special that they want? But only one person can have that special. Out of the 19 specials in this game, 20 if you count Splatoon 3 Hero Mode, only 9 of them are used in SalmonRun. So why can't we pick them? Splatoon 2 barely gets an excuse for this because there was only 4 specials, being Inkjet, Bomb Launcher, Splashdown, and Stingray. But in Splatoon 3, this just feels like a huge oversight. Outside of that, SalmonRun's RNG really isn't that bad. Like the special event waves like Low Tide, High Tide, Fireflies, Mothership, stuff like that are done really well as they pop out of any moment with very little warning. Take notes, Back for Blood. I don't really care about lore and co-op shooters. I mean, have you seen Payday 2? It's shaped like a JRPG. I mean, it starts with the Payday gang robbing a corner shop in the ghettos of Washington, D.C., to rigging a D.C. election, to stealing nuclear warheads, to raiding the White House guns blazing to steal every presidential pardon that Abraham Lincoln made while he was still alive, to excuse every Payday member from every crime they committed throughout the entire game. Oh, and if you think that's bad, don't even get me started on the COD Zombies timeline. Okay, so why bring up the lore if it shouldn't matter, especially with how simple SalmonRun lore really is? Well, for those who don't know, almost everything in Splatoon has an in-game explanation or reason as to why it happens. Kinda like Ultra Kill. The problem is, unlike Ultra Kill, it's obvious that Splatoon does the world building over gameplay and not the other way around. Not just in SalmonRun, every aspect in Splatoon is like this, but I'll explain those in other videos. Ever wonder why Grizzco used to be closed for several hours of the day back in Splatoon 2? Well, there are 2 potential reasons for this. First reason is, well, it's a job, and like most businesses, they have a time to open and a time to close. And the second reason is because of the control of the salmon population. It may be too low to do any work at that time. Now, when I first heard about this, I thought that was a nice attention to detail. Then I remembered I'm playing a video game and I'm a grown adult with real life's responsibilities. By the time Grizzco opens, I have to get ready for a job or a date. Or sometimes both. This is like if you wanted to play COD Zombies, but you can only play on maps in the country that you live in. Most of the maps do not take place in the US. Some of them don't even take place on Earth or in this galaxy. I'm losing my mind just by the thought of this alone. Who thought this was a good idea? Obviously this was fixed in Splatoon 3 and you can play SalmonRun whenever you want. So if this is fixed now, then what is the— oh my god, the scales. So you want to know why scale grinding is so bad in Splatoon 3? Well then let me give you guys a little history lesson. Back in the late 19th century / early 20th century, maybe I should switch being a history major in college. I mean, I am going somewhere with this, I promise. Many companies would pay their employees with their own currency, which was known as company script. And this script was only used at those company shops. And a lot of the time, a lot of these workers were only paid in script. And because of this, companies had their own economy and could make the market whatever they wanted. This often led to things like price gouging. And if workers wanted to exchange their script for actual money, that could lead to a lot of fees and several more scummy business practices. And since most of these workers were working in these towns that were owned by the companies that were exploiting them, most people did not have another option. There is a lot more to this, but I'm not going to get into that because this is a Splatoon video, okay? Not a human rights violation video. But what you need to take from this is that it is very clear that scales are heavily based on the concept of company script, since Grizzco as a whole has always been a play on corporatism and corporate greed. So now hopefully you understand why scales are so hard to grind for. Now let me ask you a question. Is that fun? No, really, genuinely, is it fun? Does now knowing what the scales are based off make the grind justified in your opinion? Because to me it doesn't. This is like trying to play GTA and trying to run away from the police, but because Michael's a fat fuck who does nothing but hate his kids and eat Burger King all day.
I miss my family.
Oh, you're full of shit!
You could only sprint for 5 seconds and then have to wait 30 minutes for his stamina to recharge. Just because things are realistic doesn't mean it should be there. And I just realized I haven't even talked about the gameplay aspect of these scales too. Scales in SalmonRun are extremely RNG based with very few variables in your favor. You are guaranteed 2 scales making it to the king, but what changes is how fast you kill it, if you do, and the difficulty. Unless you have a full team of dedicated salmon runners or a lot of freelance luck and free time, you ain't getting half the gear. If throwing the game the moment a king spawns in can give you a better reward than actually slaying it, then that is a problem. If you want to know the chance of getting a gold scale, it goes from less than 1% at EVP 40 to 3 to 5% at max EVP. There are Borderlands 2 guns that have a higher chance of dropping. I know I've been complaining about the grind a lot, but I'm glad that it exists. I just wish that it was better designed and more forgiving. That's just me. There are still people out there that have been playing Salmon since launch and have not gotten a single golden scale. Not me though. Not me, y'all stay safe. You can't have a good Horde co-op shooter without some good enemies, right? The infected from Left 4 Dead, the police force from Payday. And the Salmonids are no different, right? They follow the same formula as those other 2 games with common enemies that exist as cannon fodder in strength and numbers, and special enemies that will ruin your whole game if you do not strategize around them. Salmonids aren't bad, they just feel cluttered. Let me explain. Left 4 Dead has 8 special infected. Payday also has 8 special units. 10 if we include the Grenadier and the Techie in Payday 3. That name is still shit, by the way. Every single one of them have unique roles to harm the player, whether physically or strategically. Hunters and Cloakers punish those who stray from their team. Spitters and Grenadiers punish those who camp and can create area denial. Tanks and Bulldozers exist to prioritize taking damage, etc, etc. You want to know how many boss Salmonids exist in Splatoon 3? 16. Actually not quite, as 5 of them are event, so I'm only counting 11. And half of them are area denial based. But most of them are pretty unique enough by themselves, so who really cares? Let's discuss every single enemy, and yes, I do mean every single one. Lessers are honestly perfectly designed. There are 3 of them, so they don't feel boring enough to fight, but unique enough within themselves to provide different challenges. Chums are very powerful yet plentiful. Cohawks are slow but can 2-shot you, and small fries are so small they can Achilles heel you whenever you are distracted by literally anything else. It is not embarrassing to die by them, it happens all the time. Now on to the special enemy, I mean boss Salmonids. Sorry, I'm going to do a quick rundown on all of them to see which ones need to be buffed, nerfed, or balanced. Stubborn, Shruti, Stonewhite. Starting off strong with the Steelhead, I think they're pretty balanced. Most of the time, they're never really much of a threat on their own, and besides, they already had a health nerf going from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3 anyway. The problem is that they're too damn big, and because of this, they can accidentally block shots for other enemies, especially since you can't hurt them unless they attack. And let me tell you, steelheads are very liberal when they're bombs. They will walk up to you and stare dead at your face for like 3 seconds before actually trying to attack you. And a second in Splatoon, especially in SalmonRun, is worth eons. Outside of their size and the fact that their health got reduced to half of what it was originally, there's really nothing else I can say. Swiftly, steady, shieldly. Scrappers really need a buff. They aren't threatening at all. The moment they're hit with just a drop of ink, they stop dead in their tracks, and the only times you'd really die to them was normally because of either a collision glitch or you got knocked back into them. As far as what a buff could be, give them faster movement speed, or maybe give them a charge attack where they rev up and then just bolt in a straight line like the charger from Left 4 Dead. However, you could counter them by shooting them with enough damage so that they'll stop and break down like normal. This honestly helps you in your favor, as it will be easier to lure them in now, as if they weren't already easy enough to be lured in. Sinister, spiteful, shameless. Steelheads should get a nerf. They're not horrible, I just don't like them. Most of my deaths from them aren't even because of them actually killing me, it's just because of their death animation. Nothing too much has to be changed about them, maybe add like a tiny spot in each section of its body that could be damaged, which when damaged could break, which could shorten the length kind of like the Stinger. But you can't kill the steel eel this way, you still have to kill the pilot. Why can it kill you while it is dying? Drip, drop, dangerous. These guys are interesting. I consider them the silent killer of SalmonRun games because they always come in at the worst possible moment. You could be surrounded by lessers, barely dodge a flipper and a Moz at the same time, and when you manage to survive all of that, just have a Drizzler shoot a shot and kill you before you realize and ruin your entire game. They suck and I hate them. I want to nerf them. They are my least favorite special to fight. But I don't know what to nerf them for. They don't attack often, only one can spawn I'm pretty sure, they don't move constantly, and when they do move you can damage them before they even land. I was originally going to give them a health buff, but I just found out they have 900 health. That means, not including event exclusive salmonids like grillers, they have the second highest health. Even then, that's not much of an issue as you can insta-kill him if you shoot the sabot back at him. Yeah, by the way, that's technically what the Drizzler projectile is called. Look it up. So I guess they're balanced. The only thing I could say is maybe lower the health just a little bit and make the sabot linger just 1 second longer before fully going off. It always seems like whenever I try to go for it, I'm just a second too late. But that's more of a skill issue if anything. Why make a highly edited intro for this enemy when I could just steal Nintendo trailers and call it effort? Frantic, flighty, and fishy. Fish sticks are perfectly balanced. They're the FNAF 2 balloon boys of SalmonRun. They won't hurt you or kill you, but will gladly ruin your game if you give them the chance.
I don't really care if he's Freddy. I'm just trying to get my hands on his sweet, succulent AA batteries.
Fish sticks tend to land in a general area around the basket, so they can place turf in areas that you would need to go if things ever went wrong. I honestly can't think of a way to improve them, even if I wanted to. Plus, after you kill them, their sticks stay intact, so you can use them for your advantage too. Munchy, masticating, potentially maternal. Mods are balanced. I have no issue with them. They're my favorite special by concept alone. I'd buff them if I could, but from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3, they've already received plenty of good changes. Hold on. Does that say the only weapon capable of damaging a submerged Moz is Grizzco Splatana's Charge Slash, which will insta-kill them? Wait, how much damage does the Oh. You are such a bad enemy, I don't even want to make an intro for you. Flippy, floppy, failure-y? Flipper floppers are just Moz but reversed and significantly worse. They need to get a buff. They attack a lot slower than what Moz does and is constantly put in a more vulnerable state as well. As Moz is already put in a predetermined condition where she will be insta-killed before she even finishes attacking, Flip Flopper can be killed when they're shooting the ring, when they're about to hit you, and after they fail hitting you. I think two small buffs that Flip Flopper should have is that one, if their armor breaks and they're able to dive back into ink, their armor should replenish, but their health shouldn't. And number two, make their flip-flop less flip-flop? Basically give the workers less time they have to shoot it before it dives back into the ground. Realistically, this shouldn't change anything about them, but in all honesty, they're so inferior to Moz, I had to give them something. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Slippy, slammy, and silly. Lids aren't that bad. They fly to a random spot on the map, allowing for more spawn points for lessers and make a force field on them for when they do spawn. Sounds pretty standard. Buff them. They're so dumb. They're really dumb. For an enemy that does so much, they don't feel like they do anything at all. Yes, they spawn. And yes, they have a force field, but why don't they just fly around higher priority enemies to shield them? They just stand there, doing nothing. They're supposed to adjust lesser spawns, so let them adjust lesser spawns. Having three lids be at the exact same spot next to one another doesn't do anything. Especially since you can bait one into crushing the other two and everything else around them. I had no idea that if you stand on them for too long, they will actually knock you off with a ladle. I did not find that out until I saw an animation making fun of it.
You gonna cook something with that?
I know I sound extremely harsh on them, but considering how much you can manipulate their AI for your benefit, I feel like they need some sort of buff. You can use them to kill harder specials for you, use them as a vantage point, and if you are afraid of being smacked off, and there's two of them next to one another, you can just jump from one another, resetting the timer before they try to knock them off. This enemy is so fucked, oh my god. Buffy, bulgy, big shots. I probably shouldn't have used those words in that order, but who cares? Big shots need to be adjusted. Not buff, not nerf, adjusted. The reason why I'm saying adjusted and not balanced is because the thing I want to change about them is a very big thing. It's basically rework at this point. What's the adjustment, you may be asking? That fucking cannon. Oh my god. I feel bad for whoever at Nintendo came up with the idea of using the cannon for our benefit. You were cooking with that, honestly. But you didn't take in the account of how many dumbasses over-rely on it once the big shot is dead. Motherfuckers kill one big shot and they turn that shore into their next beach house in Florida where the rent is $3,000 and half a head of an alligator. Please leave the shore. Yes, it's helpful. Yes, it can be important. And yes, it can be an extreme clutch tool. But if I'm at the basket and we're getting overrun at the basket with little turf to work with, help me. I'm not saying get rid of the cannon entirely, but I do think there should be a timer. Maybe after the big shot is dead, 10 seconds later, the cannon explodes, making it useless or whatever. This will allow it to still be useful, but not overstay its welcome, so my teammates can get back to their job. We get to talk about you now, okay. Yeah, fuck the stingers. No enemy needs a nerf this bad but them. They are extremely annoying. They shoot a highly aggressive laser beam that won't stop chasing you until your untimely demise. Turns out, actually, it doesn't stop firing even after you're dead. They stop firing when they feel like it. And I don't understand Stinger AI, but God forbid if there's more than one on the map, because they seem to attack at a rhythm. It always seems like once one fires, a couple seconds later, the other one will fire. And they always seem to have a tendency to target one person. And the wiki says that they're supposed to target the one furthest from them, but I don't know, man, it doesn't seem like that sometimes. But you wanna know something? That's not the reason why I hate it so much. The reason why I hate it so much is, 1, Stinger is bad as is, 2 is horrible, but why in the shrimp fried fuck can there be 3 Stingers on opposite corners on the map? And before you say that Stingers aren't bad as long as you have good turf coverage and map knowledge, I just want to say that's a great argument. I didn't fucking ask. Health is fine, attack duration's fine, AI predictability is fine. The issue I have is their spawn count. There should not be up to 3 Stingers. It's already bad that you have to go out of your way to fight them. You cannot change my mind on this. The Stinger sucks and I fucking hate them. Speaking of another enemy I hate... Oh. Oh, okay, that wasn't scripted at all, actually. Oh, I can't wait to tear this enemy into pieces. I hate everything about this thing. Oh my god, I'm going to tear it to pieces. I'm gonna be real for a second. The flyfish is such a flawed enemy, I'd have to make a separate video on the flyfish alone. I've already spent the past 10 minutes probably talking about everyone else, and there's already a bunch of other things of SalmonRun I haven't gotten into yet, so I have to leave this for another time. I'm sorry, but trust me, the flyfish is gonna get the worst of it. Just you wait. You have been spared, flyfish, for now. This is an extremely small nitpick, I understand, but in Left 4 Dead, every single special enemy has their own spawn queue that plays when they spawn.
We got a smoker! Boomer! Spitter!
And yes, I did turn the jockey from Left 4 Dead into Pearl for this bit. I have nothing to apologize for. I like this because even though the game doesn't tell you which sound is which, if you play the game long enough, you'll have an understanding and can mentally prepare yourself about what to deal with. But in SalmonRun, every single special enemy has the same exact horn. So now when a special spawns, I have to play Guess Who before they actually spawn. I know it doesn't bother anyone, but it bothers the hell out of me. Look, special enemies are a fundamental part of co-op shooter. If they aren't good, then your whole game falls apart. Just look at Black Ops 6 on launch. They aren't bad. Well, most of them aren't, but they could all be way better. But what about the King? Okay, on a severe positive note, I love the Kings, all 3 of them. They're all perfect. I love all of them so much. It would just be really cool if there was a redundant game mechanic that adds unnecessary artificial difficulty for no reason that completely ruins Kings as a concept. Okay, I've been trying to avoid it this entire video, but I can't avoid it any longer. I have to actually talk about this now. One of the main reasons why I don't like playing SalmonRun a lot is because of that goddamn timer. I understand it being there in normal waves and event waves, but why is it in King Salmonid waves? It makes no sense. Kings are already tough enough to tackle as is. It doesn't even matter if your team can kill the king or die trying, or fail trying. The game will still give you the victory all the same. There is literally no stakes at all. If you fail, you don't break down, and you still get skills for losing, not as much as you should, sure, but is it really much of a difference? You are not fighting a boss, you are fighting a timer. The entire tone is shifted from, oh my god, I have to fight that thing? Oh my god, the timer is still there? I dislike the timer so much that when Try Rum Rate dropped for the first time, I went from, oh my god, that's so cool, to instantly remembering about the timer, and immediately lost interest and went back to playing Helldivers. You know, the other 4-player co-op shooter, which also has every mission you do on a timer. That actually respects you. If Helldivers respects you more, that is a problem. You want to know how many times I've actually killed a king? 3. Only 3 times. And before you say that that is a skill issue, ask yourself, does the timer need to exist for King Salmonid, and is it worth it? I've said it earlier in the video, but Splatoon is kind of getting bigger enough in size where you have small communities inside it, kind of like how COD is with the zombies community. You have the casual side, the competitive side, the content creator side, the art side, the SFM side, the manga side, the SalmonRun side, the single player side. There's so many sub-communities inside Splatoon. There are Splatoon YouTubers that only make SalmonRun content, and I find it extremely cool that Nintendo has done SalmonRun only content updates like big runs and extra work. But here's the problem, there are limited time modes. Sure, they do come often, but having major SalmonRun content be limited time modes to shake things up is really dumb and kind of unnecessary. Especially since SalmonRun can go in so many several ways, with unique game modes too. I've even came up with a couple myself. Would you like to hear them? Too bad I'm doing it anyway. Starting off my more smaller ideas, an endless mode. You, your crewmates, and the endless shore of never-ending salmonids who want you dead. It's like Nightmare D-Day, but you're on the German side. Okay, that sounds bad, but okay, I got nothing. That was pretty bad. You'd be surprised how many people would love to see how high they could go. You know, people would make awards for this. Just a thought, that's just one game mode. I have another idea too. Why isn't solo SalmonRun an option? I'm being dead serious. I should be able to play SalmonRun solo by myself. And before you say that SalmonRun isn't built with solo play in mind, okay, counter argument. This is Helldivers on its max difficulty. This is SalmonRun on its max difficulty. Neither game is solo friendly, but at least every other co-op shooter gives me the ability to. Well, most of them. No, seriously, the fact that CJ Hyperfresh made an entire video dedicated to the idea of doing this proves that this could have been something. What if we had a PvE VP mode? 2 teams of 4 against one another. Huh? Okay, but how would that work, you might be asking? Well, it's simple, because I thought of not 1, not 2, but 3 different game modes from 3 different shooters that could all work within SalmonRun. These game modes are Scavenge from Left 4 Dead 2, Grief Mode from COD Zombies, and Gambit from Destiny. Hear me out. Just hear me out. Scavenge is a game mode from Left 4 Dead where there are 2 teams. One team of 4 are the survivors, and the other team of 4 that is the infected. In the center of the map is a generator. The survivor's goal is to scavenge around the map to find gas cans and fill up the generator. The infected have to stop them. Whichever team, as a survivor, fills up more gas cans in the generator than the other wins the game. Do you see the parallels? The generator being the basket, the fuel cans being the eggs? Come on, it's right there. And also, besides, being able to play as the salmonid sounds pretty cool, because not only will you get a new perspective as to how they work, but you can also cooperate with your other salmonid pals and combine your strength to overwhelm the workers. Yes, punish the minimum wage workers. Obviously, certain things about them would be adjusted for balance reasons, but so did Valve when they were making Versus mode anyway, so I don't really see anything wrong with that. The second idea is basically Grief mode from Black Ops 2 Zombies, not the one from BO6, that one sucks. I've actually mentioned this one before in one of my earlier videos. I think it's like, what, the second video I ever made? Basically, you have 2 teams of workers with 2 different baskets. Whichever team puts the most eggs in their basket, or whichever team survives the longest, wins the game. Grief mode also had a rule that if one team died, the other team had to survive until the very end, and if they died, the game would reset, giving them both another chance. Not sure about that one, but I thought it was worth mentioning. And for my final idea, and this one's the most outlandish one because this one would not work at all, mainly because SalmonRun already pushed the Switch to its limits anyway, and this game would basically need 2 maps running at the same time. And I also haven't played Destiny 2 since 2019, so I don't know what they've done to this game mode since then. But I'm referring to Gambit from Destiny 2. Gambit is a mode where there are 2 maps and there's 1 team on each map. Both teams fill up a basket with orbs from fallen enemies, and once your bucket is filled, a boss spawns. And if you can kill your boss faster than the other team can on their side, you win. Wait, this just sounds like standard SalmonRun. I actually didn't realize how similar they both sound. But here's another thing. Occasionally, a portal, in Destiny's case, but I guess in Splatoon's case it would probably be like a giant cannon or something, would allow you to go to the enemy team's side and start attacking them, allowing you to disrupt them. Maybe they drop eggs when they die, maybe you can take the eggs back or whatever. And also in Gambit, if they're already fighting the boss and you invade and start killing them, their deaths will heal the boss, but let's be honest, that wouldn't happen here. I don't think I have to Splatoonify the concept of this one, do I? I came up with not only the name of this game mode, but also a lore reason as to why this would even occur. The name of it would be called Competitive Pay, and the lore reason is, I don't know, Mr. Grizz finds out what the phrase competitive pay means and makes it literal. Because more workers equals more effort, and more effort means more money being made, but if they're fighting each other, then you don't have to worry about them being alive, so you don't have to pay them. I'm thinking too much about this.
Wait a minute. I hate golf.
And these are all the extra game modes I came up with. Well, yes, we did have extra content like extra work and big runs. Those were only limited time modes, just like everything else in Splatoon 3. And in my opinion, it feels kind of cheap that none of the things we got ever stuck around. I really like extra work. I love the teamwork aspect of it and just planning your missions out before you do them, assigning roles to everyone. You know what's coming. It's how do you execute it? It's kind of like a Destiny raid. I said one good thing about you, Destiny. Are you happy now? Alright, I'm gonna be honest, this video is already way too long, and I really don't have much to say about either of these issues, so I'm gonna just get this out of the way as fast as possible. All the SalmonRun maps are good, except for Marooner's Bay. The only issue is the fact that not a lot of single player mechanics carried over to SalmonRun. Like, imagine if some of the maps had dash tracks or grind rails or those extendo cubes or whatever they're called. I think Nintendo could have came up with unique maps if they just added those in, or at least reworked some of the existing ones with those. Also, I'm really glad that Arc Polaris is not in this game. Even though it is my favorite Splatoon 2 map, it is not beginner friendly, and considering the difficulty spike between Splatoon 2 SalmonRun and Splatoon 3 SalmonRun, and the fact that I normally play freelance anyway, Arc Polaris would have genuinely been the most unfair thing in this game mode. Imagine fighting High Tide Megalodonte on that map. And as far as Big Run, honestly, I don't have an issue with them. I just find it funny how half the Big Run maps are better designed as salmon maps than they are as genuine multiplayer maps. Now on to Communication. I genuinely do not understand how with every new mainline Splatoon game that comes out, the game gets more and more team focused, but yet we don't get any forms of communication. There's no pinging system, you can barely communicate with your teammates so you can pass eggs, you can't even ask your teammates for help unless you're already dead. It's just frustrating. SalmonRun's a team-based mode, so where's the teamwork? If you're not playing with friends, there's nothing you can do. I am playing a game mode where the map is randomized, the enemies is randomized, the rounds are randomized, the weapons I use is randomized, the specials I have is randomized, and I have no form of communication on top of that. And no, I'm not suggesting that Splatoon should have voice chat because I don't trust this game with voice chat, and besides, that would be really hypocritical of me since most of the co-op shooters I play, I don't even use voice chat in those. The fact that Luigi's Mansion 2 on 3DS had more communication than all of Splatoon combined within the past 10 years is baffling to me. SalmonRun as a co-op shooter, in my opinion, is fun, and contrary to popular belief, I actually enjoy it. If any of my friends asked, I'd always be down. Well, if my friends could actually get on Splatoon, that is. But it'll also make you realize just how bare bones SalmonRun can be at times. Just like Side Order when it comes to roguelites. I just wish it had more meat on its bones. Do Salmonids even have bones? Well, either way, it's still on the bottom of my co-op shooter tier list, tied with Payday 3. Anyway, what are your thoughts on my ideas for SalmonRun, and what other game of Splatoon should I cover? My name is O.C., and I'm out. Please have some water.